Hey guys, it's LaDawn Black, and I just had to hop on real quick to help my girl Halle Berry out because you guys are jumping in on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and maybe even Pinterest, anywhere that y'all can post. Y'all are going in on my girl, saying basically that she is the problem in her relationships, saying that, this is proof that pretty women are crazy because she announced her latest divorce. And I simply don't think it's fair. So I'm going to tell you why actually Halle Berry should be your love role model. Yes, Halle Berry is a love champ. And I'm going to break it down for you, okay? So this is how it goes. All right. Halle had a little hit TV show. She had a few movies. So she's getting some money. She's getting some fame. And she went to look to find love. Well, when you have those things and you're playing in that pond, what's better than an athlete with money and looks and fame? So she marries Dave Justice, right? That's what you're supposed to do. You're famous, you marry someone equally famous. You're rich, you marry someone equally rich. So she hooked up with Dave Justice, and we were like, ooh, they're just so pretty. We just like looking at the covers. They were on the cover of Essence. We were like, ooh, this is just so soothing to my eyes. So we were happy for her, right? Well, she did the expected thing. She did the thing that you would expect someone to do when they're famous and on the come up. She married someone who was on her level, right? It didn't work. But Halle didn't give up. She went back to the drawing board and she said, well, maybe a guy just as beautiful as I am, maybe someone with groupies, maybe someone who's an athlete and has their own issues. Maybe that's not the answer. Maybe the answer is to find a brother who is deep, who is cultured, who operates on a different plane, someone who's has, deeper concerns outside of himself, someone who's an artist. She went and got Eric Benet. Now, I know y'all are going, well, Eric Benet, maybe not such a big deal today. But back in the day, y'all know y'all were feeling Eric Benet. He was singing barefoot on those stages, and he had the locks, and every interview was about his daughter and losing his daughter's mom. The brother was deep, right? He was impressive. And so Halle said, I'm going to go for someone deep. I'm going to go for someone creative, someone connected to the culture. And she gave that a whirl. That didn't work either. Okay? Now, you would think Halle would just, be like, nah, no more love. No more love. Just let it go. And I know in your head you're saying, well, shoot, I just would have given up. But you wouldn't have. You would still be out there. But she learned a lesson. She said, well, maybe the deep brother is not a good fit. Maybe what's wrong is not necessarily the guys, but what's wrong is the ring. So if you remember, after the Eric Benet divorce, she was on every talk show. She was in every interview saying basically that she wasn't going to get married again. That's what she was doing, okay? And she met Gabriel, I think that's his name, Aubrey? Okay, the model, okay? Nice looking, not as nice looking as she is. Has money, not as much money as she does. And definitely not, at that time, as famous as she is. So she hooks up with him and says, well, we just won't do the ring thing. And if you remember, that relationship actually lasted quite a few years. So it was working, right? They had their daughter, and then eventually it ended. So, I was going to say Aubrey. So Halle went back to the drawing board and said, okay, what can I do differently? I still want love, like we all do, but what can I do differently? And what she said probably was, look, I need someone on my level, but maybe I'm talking too much about my relationships. Maybe my relationships are a little too much, in the press and in the news. So she hooks up with Olivier. And we all loved Olivier. Well, she hooked up with him, and they never talked about it. You would see pictures of them on red carpets. You would see pictures of them on set, because I think they met doing a movie or something. You would see pictures of them around town, but they never talked about anything, that they were even together. Then they started sporting wedding rings, and they never talked about it. Then she showed up pregnant, and they never talked about it. And then finally she had to say something because she was very, very pregnant, and she admitted that they were married and everything was good, right? So this relationship pretty much stayed out of the press. She didn't talk about a whole bunch about him. I remember seeing her on talk shows and people would ask her about him and she really didn't have much to say. And I thought to myself, I said, well, maybe that's smart because their relationships have been very public. Well, of course, the only time we heard about their relationships is when he was beating her baby daddy's butt or, you know, hitting the airplane staff with a car seat and stuff like that. But that had nothing to do with nothing to do with their relationship per se. And I was rooting for them because I thought that she was making a smart move and just keeping her mouth shut about the relationship. Well, that relationship ended. So the reason why I say that we can learn a lot from Halle Berry is because 1, she doesn't give up on love. 2, she learns from what went bad in the past and she moves on to something new and something different. She doesn't keep repeating the same stuff. It wasn't like a train of athletes or a whole bunch of soul singers, or I'm quite sure it won't be a whole bunch of Frenchmen. Definitely wasn't a whole bunch of models. She does something different every time she enters into the next relationship. So she learns the lesson, does something different, and she knows how the hell to get out of a situation that's not working for her. So I think Halle is a love champ. So personally, I am looking forward to Halle's next relationship step. I think he's going to be really old. I think he's going to be a Martian. She's going to surprise us. She's going to convert someone who's given up on relationships and sex, like a priest or something. You know, she's going to do something crazy and surprising because she's going to always pursue love, and she learns her lessons and she does something different. So I'm looking forward to it. And I think Halle can teach us a lot about love, about how to move the hell on and how to do something different and to not keep repeating the same patterns. And so she's a love champ. I love Halle and her relationships because I think she's on to something, that you have to always be willing to try something new. Don't be scared.